And now, live in studio, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. He's a successful entrepreneur, published author, top listing agent, a real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes.
Yes, here we are again another day committed to picking a fight with the mainstream media and providing you the timely truth centered around real estate, credit, finance, estate planning, tax planning, and so much more. You're listening to the Consumer Quarterback Show. Our number one goals are to educate, entertain, enlighten, and engage to help you win.
The only thing I'm addicted to right now is winning.
Save our hotline number. At some point, you're going to want to call in 813-670-7372.
You used to call me on my cell phone.
813-670-7372. And bookmark our website, consumerqb.com. You'll see all of our expert contributors at consumerqb.com. And you can find links to all of our expert contributors there. You can submit a form. You can see some of our past shows. You can watch our live stream television version of the program at consumerqb.com. Also stream it from our website. Compliments of PlatinumMVPRealty.com as well. And it's Intelligent Talk Radio. I've got some intelligent folks here in studio with me today. Seat number one, attorney Christie Arkovich, student loan attorney. Welcome in.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for coming. What are we going to talk about today?
Well, one of the reoccurring problems we see right now is people are calling in and they have just tremendous loan balances. You know, they haven't been able to address them for the past few years when the downturn of the economy, and they've been in forbearance. Interest is capitalized, and now instead of owing the national average of about $25,000 when someone graduates, we're seeing $75,000, $50,000.
Wow.
And so we're trying to help those folks understand what they've got, create good options for them, getting that payment down, getting that time period down of how long they have to pay, and it is working.
Awesome.
So
that's great. Good news. So attention students and folks out there that have graduated and you've got this student debt, we're going to have attorney Christie Arkovich kind of shedding some light on some of the strategies that she's seeing that she can employ to help you if you are in that situation. Also, the 10-man Fred Muth in the house, design and sales for Tampa Screens and Aluminum. Welcome in, sir.
Well, thank you. I'd like to say Happy New Year. A little late for that, but I haven't been in a while.
Yeah.
How you been?
Hey, things are good.
You know, you always hook me up with these high IQ people. What are you trying to bring me up to speed or something? Thank you. Today I'd like to talk about how the insurance companies are working very well right now with our clients and our customers on taking care of some of the storm damage jobs from a storm that hit 4 months ago. So, every now and then I'm kind of down on the insurance companies, but at this point I'm kind of up on them. So they're
nice.
Things are working out. I guess that's because I wrote up a couple storm damage jobs last week because the insurance company, settled with them. But for all the homeowners out there that are in that predicament, patience is a virtue. That's all I have to tell you.
Yeah.
But make sure you pay your premiums without that idea in your mind.
Yeah, keep the premiums going because that's all they need is an excuse.
That's it.
Also, my man Cory Van Valin in the house. He's a local magician and he's blowing up all over the place. You find him on Facebook and doing a lot of awesome shows. Welcome in, sir.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, and I was so excited to see you come to my last stage show.
Yeah, that was great, man.
Yeah,
very entertaining.
Thank you. I'm going to be talking about with show business, what can go wrong will go wrong.
Yeah.
And some of my tactics of how I get butts in seats and fill out theaters.
Yeah, cheeks and seats, as we say in the business,
I
right?
love it,
Getting
yeah.
cheeks and seats. It's a big part of it. You got to fill the room. You got to get the people there. And, let's face it, these days there's so many places that people can be. There's so many things vying for our attention, whether it's stay at home, Netflix it up, chill out, or, especially if you're putting on events, it's difficult to get people to these events. So I'm interested to hear what you're going to say. And we've got our official hotel partner. We want to give a plug and a shout out. This segment is brought to you by the Kiptons, the Hotel Zamora on beautiful St. Pete Beach. It's our official hotel partner, and they've got a restaurant on site, the Castile restaurant on site, rooftop lounge, beautiful views of the Gulf of Mexico and the Intercoastal Waterway, and it's just north of the Don Cesar, if you're familiar with that area. It's the first new hotel built on the beach in decades. Check out Kiptons, the Hotel Zamora on St. Pete Beach, and make sure you let them know the real estate quarterback sent you, and you're going to get a 20% off discount off of your first stay just by mentioning the REQB code. So give them a call, let them know we said hello, and book your room stay over at Kipton's, the Hotel Zamora. beautiful St. Pete Beach. And we got an interesting story today. We're going to do our top 10 U.S. cities for street performers, according to usatoday.com. And we have our feel-good story of the week as well. A dad hires a chopper in frantic search to find missing son. Find out how that ends here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. Actually, let me plug this property I just listed here. Beautiful property in Safety Harbor, 5 Marbay Lane, Safety Harbor, 3-bedroom, 2-bath property, $389,000 just listed. Now, this is attention builders, attention developers out there in Safety Harbor, Pinellas County, overlooking the upper Tampa Bay. You've got gorgeous water views here at 5 Marbay Lane, Safety Harbor, and it's a double lot. So the builders, developers, you can build an extra unit at a single-family home here, especially if you go vertical like you most likely will, 3 stories high. You're going to have some awesome views of upper Tampa Bay at this property on Marbay Lane in Safety Harbor. And out in East County, you got 6601 Crickle Avenue. 6601 Crickle Avenue. 4-bedroom, 3-bath property, over 3,300 square feet, fenced-in backyard. And it's a great buying opportunity at $349,000. Split bedrooms, and it's a great buying opportunity here in Tampa Bay. Check out PlatinumMVPRealty.com. PlatinumMVPRealty.com. All right, let's jump right into it. Attorney Christie Arkovich in the house, student loan attorney, and it's just so many people have this debt. They don't know what to do. They have they're looking at the bills. They don't know what the difference is between a deferment and all the different lingo. So let's break it down for them.
Sure. One of the biggest things that people need to know first is, do they have private loans or federal loans? They're very different with respect to the options. And a lot of times servicers don't make that really clear, on the different summaries they've got through emails or websites or whatnot. It doesn't really say. It just says, here's your total amount due. It's usually excessive. People can't afford that. And they just put everything on forbearance. So we're looking for solutions. We're looking at how to minimize that payment. And with federal loans, there's some pretty excellent income-driven plans out there. There's about half dozen of them, though, so it takes some thought as to which one you want to be in. And then they do have debt cancellation at the end, forgiveness of debt. And so why have your loan in forbearance all these years where the interest just capitalizes, where you're compounding the interest, you're paying interest on interest? You might have a loan that's double or triple in a few years. Why do that when you can have income-based plans with debt forgiveness at the end of a time period? And the servicers aren't doing a very good job of telling people about these income-based programs. So that's one big part of our practice, curing defaults, making sure people don't get in default. Because I don't know if you knew this, Brandon, but if you default on a federal student loan, they add 25% to the balance.
Wow.
Yeah, I had a gentleman in this week that they added $32,000 to his loan, and he was like, how are they able to do that? He had defaulted 7 days earlier.
Wow.
And it's a mess. So we're there to avoid those defaults so we don't have 25% increases. And the forgiveness of debt, it does take a while. It's 10 years if you're in public service, or 20 or 25 otherwise, but it is gone at the end. And so you could owe, $100,000, $150,000. And if your income is low enough to support a $100 or $200 payment, which is very common, the rest of the debt will eventually go away. So you're not paying that interest. You're not even really paying much of the principal.
Wow.
And these are legal programs. People need to know about them. They need to take advantage of them. And they don't hurt your credit in any way. And in fact, they do oftentimes help someone buy a home. Because not only do you need to get your student loans under control to qualify for a home mortgage, but you might need to increase your disposable income to do real estate investment, build wealth, and so forth. And many of the home originators now will use the income-based payment if it shows up on someone's credit report, as opposed to the either 10-year standard payment, which is huge, or 1% of the principal balance, which is also generally very large. And so, these programs will help someone qualify to buy a home, whether it's an investment home or their own home. And then it's an entirely different ballgame with private loans. For those, we're actually encouraging a default. We're calling it a strategic default. And then we're trying to settle afterwards. We use a lot of consumer law violations in doing so. These student loan servicers, they're nothing more than debt collectors.
Right.
And so they have to follow the consumer laws just like any other creditor might, whether it's a vehicle loan or credit card, and they don't. If you ask them not to call your cell phone, they're still going to call your cell phone.
Wow.
And if they call after you tell them not to, here in Florida, it's $500 to $1,500 per call.
Wow.
Yeah, I just reviewed an arbitration agreement on the way here, and arbitration is known as maybe giving you a little bit less damages, kind of split the baby type of thing. They gave someone $1,500 per call for hundreds of calls.
Wow.
Because that person had revoked consent to call their cell phone. They told the servicer over and over again, don't call my cell phone. And the servicer continued to be sued. by other parties, so it's well known that it was willful. They continued to do this as a business practice, and they got hit. So we're seeing more and more of that, and those kinds of out-of-the-box type solutions using consumer law violations, that's one of the things that gets our private student loan settlements pretty low. And it doesn't have to be all at one time. Those payments usually are made over a period of time with all the money that they pay going towards that settlement, that reduced number, and no interest.
Right.
So we're able to take maybe a $75,000 private loan, turn it into 25, pay it out over 5 years with no interest. That's a very doable payment.
Yeah.
And so those are the solutions we're looking for. We're not looking to get rid of the student loan as a whole. We're just looking to minimize that payment, let people save for retirement, save for investment, and also shrink the time period that they have to make that payment. And it's working.
Yeah, I like that. Attorney Christie Arkovich here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. I'm your host, Brandon Rimes. Student loan debt totals over $1.4 trillion, and it's more than vehicle and credit card debt combined. So, you're looking at that, and it's also, you can't add this into a bankruptcy, can you?
No, we do file bankruptcies for some loans on a technical basis where we can argue they're not a qualified educational loan. We've done that successfully for some Caribbean medical schools lately. We've gotten rid of quite a bit of debt. But ordinarily, it's very hard to show undue hardship and have a discharge in bankruptcy. Very difficult.
Yeah, and going back to your other example with the gentleman that had the $25,000 balance, I believe, added on. Was that a private loan or was that a government? That
was a federal loan, because how that works is when you default on a federal loan, and that's defined as anytime you're more than 270 days behind. So it's basically 9 months. So you get 9 months behind, they add 25% to the balance.
Wow.
And it's called a collection cost. It's allowed by law. It doesn't matter how many calls or letters they might make to collect that debt. It's just that's the way it is. And the only way we've ever gotten rid of that collection fee is if it's a smaller dollar loan and we've offered to pay it off in full. We often can get the collection fees waived at 25% plus an additional 10% right off of the principal. But that works only for like a $10,000 loan that someone can actually pay in cash.
Right.
Other than that, we usually can't get rid of that. I mean, there are times where the default isn't that old and sometimes they'll agree.
Yep.
But most people that come to see us, they don't see us just a few days after the default hits. It's usually months, years, and we can't get that waived generally.
Yeah, I can understand that. And I think there's a sentiment now as well. You hear it amongst entrepreneurs, especially in the internet marketing realm, the real estate space is, they'll call themselves unemployable, or they don't want to go to school. They don't want to, follow in that traditional, a lot of the millennials, and even, that age group, they're like, hey, I'm going to go and find some specialized knowledge over here. I'm going to take this internet course and learn how to do, online marketing or Facebook marketing and forego a college education because they're seeing the cost go up. I saw a documentary on I forgot which program it was, but the cost of college education continuing to skyrocket year after year.
Yeah, in large part, that's because access to federal funding has been so easy. And with the non-dischargeability in bankruptcy, it's a good product for lenders to offer for their bottom line. And they also have servicing fees and such. So you have a disconnect because you've got the colleges that want to bring in the money, and you've got free money out here, or easy money, I should say.
Yeah.
And it's caused tuition to skyrocket more than any other expense, including medical, over the past few years.
Yeah.
But you have to watch out for some schools. Like, I understand some of the specialized training is very good, but there's some schools out there, such as the for-profit schools like Everest and Corinthian and ITT. They would specifically market towards people that were already employed and they needed to work full time and they needed specialized training. They don't want to learn math and English and history. They want to learn construction management or something specific to their field.
Right. And
those schools popped up because of that desire, and those schools charged a lot of money, and there wasn't really much value in that diploma that someone eventually got.
Wow. Yeah.
So you have to be cautious
too. You got to be real careful about it, and and I know my uncle was a school board superintendent at one point with Hillsborough County, and he talked a lot about getting back to the basics, needing more trades, needing more people in the trades, the masons, the different types of, contractors even. So stay with us here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. More from student loan attorney Christie Arkovich. We've got Fred Muth in the house as well, and representing Tampa Screens and Aluminum. And coming up, Cory Van Valin. He's a local magician and has a great show here in Tampa Bay. So stay with us here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. We're going to help you win. And our feel-good story of the week as well. Dad hires a chopper in a frantic search to find a missing son. Stay with us. Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
Hey, this is Grant Cardone, and you're listening to Consumer Quarterback Show, hosted by my friend Brandon Rhymes. Do not touch that dial. I'll come right through the radio and grab your throat.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com. You're listening to the Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. Online at consumerqb.com.
All right, welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us. Brandon Rhymes here, the Consumer Quarterback Show, Platinum MVP Realty, former USF football player. I played on the inaugural football team at USF. Final ranking of 21 this year, not bad. And longtime quarterback on our sports teams. And now we're quarterbacking introductions to our expert contributors. Over 80 show partners now on the Consumer Quarterback Show, all with a different niche in a different area that they can help you in. So we would love to engage with you. 813-670-7372. 813-670-7372 and consumerqb.com. So first segment, we were talking with Christie Arkovich here, student loan attorney, talking about some of the strategies that she's employing to help her clients with these different companies that are collecting student loans, some of the ways that she can work on strategies and plans to help you either pay down the debt or sometimes even eliminate it and go after the creditors in some cases. Fred Muth in the house, Tampa Screens and Aluminum. Cory Van Valin coming up as well here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. I want to give a shout out to Signature Massage and Facial Spa in Tampa. Are you looking for a place to get a massage or a facial at an affordable price but without having to sign up for membership? Look no further at Signature Massage Massage and Facial Spa. They offer a 1-hour sweetest massage for $49.95. Always no contracts. And for those muscles and knots that need extra work, ask about getting a deep tissue or a sports massage. And if skincare is what you're looking for, they have amazing facial and microderm packages. Check out Signature Massage and Facial Spa at 11248 West Hillsborough Avenue in Tampa, or call 813-925-8898. 813-925-8898 to schedule an appointment. Now, make sure you let them know the Real Estate Quarterback sent you, and you're going to get a 10% off your discount off of your first service with Signature Massage. All right, we're back here in studio. Hot listing in Apollo Beach. I want to let you know about 6508 Bimini Court in Apollo Beach. This is a perfect fisherman's paradise here. Over 5,600 total square feet, $690,000, and you got direct access out into the Gulf of Mexico. 6508 Bimini Court, Apollo Beach. Great listing from Platinum MVP Realty, and a beautiful listing at 10217 Timberland Point Drive, Arbor Green subdivision, gated community, 4 bedrooms, 3 bath, over 3,900 square feet, $320,000, just reduced down to $320,000, and it's a gorgeous property with so many upgrades in the community. You've got a guarded gate, fitness room with equipment, tennis courts, resort-style heated pools, many playgrounds, and boardwalks to the middle school. So consumerqb.com for the Real Estate Quarterback Show and Consumer Quarterback Show, and PlatinumMVPRealty.com. A couple of hot properties here in Tampa Bay. All right, so let's bring Fred Muth into the conversation, the tin man in the house. So Tampa screens in aluminum. What we always talk about is that in-between space. It's not under air. Sometimes it has an air conditioner, but it's technically
it shouldn't have an air conditioner. But okay, if you like to pay Tico, that's what you want to do, right?
Yeah,
that's your
right.
Put a fan in there, blow the air around.
That's right. Yeah, it's that in-between space that we talk about.
And, that's your turn. You coined that phrase. I use it all the time now. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. That's good, man.
Yeah, one of the jobs we did, I was just thinking about this many years ago. It was about a 60 by 40 footer only, big cage. After we poured the footer, the guy had all this dirt brought in and special sod, special grass. He actually built a Scottish Lynx style putting green.
Nice.
60 by 40. I think it's down at Apollo Beach. I've driven by it several times. With different elevations.
Yeah.
That's one of the unusual ones. These are the ones that I enjoy.
Yeah, that's really neat. So he's got golf year round.
Oh, yeah. He's, his wife just puts him out there all night long. Christie, you mentioned the term forbearance all the time. And I don't believe that the public is really aware of how that's such a sugar-coated term for an ugly solution.
It is, because people think it's good. They don't have a payment.
And it sounds so nice, forbearance. It's like, this is relief. It should have been one of George Carlin's dirty words.
And there's no paperwork usually get a forbearance. So it's an easy sell. But, with interest, it just adds up. And, if it's hard to pay 25, it's going to be harder to pay 50. If it's hard to pay 50, it's going to be harder to pay 100. So it should just be used for a temporary Band-Aid.
Let me ask you, if you just ignore the debt, could it ever attach to an asset like a lien or like
Eventually,
a judgment?
Yeah, if the Department of Ed isn't getting paid through garnishments or tax intercepts or Social Security offset, if they're not getting any money, about 10 years later, they sue. They use the Department of Justice. They get a complaint. They get a judgment. And that judgment, like any other judgment, can move around. It can go to other pieces of property as liens.
Yeah.
It can attach to bank accounts and so forth.
Yeah.
But it's not the immediately, no. So it takes a number of years for it to get to that point. But yeah, any asset would be subject to risk.
Interesting. Wow. Yeah.
Strike that word out. Forbearance.
Yeah, no forbearance. It's like a drug.
It's not a good one. It's one of George's. Anyway, back to screen rooms. With the insurance companies, I mentioned that earlier. I urge the customers to stay in contact with the insurance companies. So what we're seeing now on some of these cages that are coming down, basically after the tree hits them, they take a hit. There's more damage to the house that's not in the original quote by the adjuster. And some of my customers are sort of apprehensive about bringing the adjuster back. But believe me, he wants to come back. He wants to come back and negotiate with you. Most of them will come back and continue to add more into the claim for that reason. Yeah. Some of these homeowners are under the impression that if the cage is covered, that's it. They get a check for the cage. Whatever happens to the house is on them. That's not a true statement.
Yep.
I've got 2 of them right now under construction that there's tremendous damage to the back of the house. So project goes on hold. The wood has to get fixed. Customer gets another check from the insurance company in most cases. So I urge the customers to stay with the insurance companies and work with them. They'll probably be compensated correctly.
Yeah. And I had a situation where I listed similar properties in the same community. And it was very similar floor plans, very similar square footage. And customer A did not have a screen room. Customer B did. The house with the screen room sold much faster.
That's it. And people ask me, well, will it enhance my value? And of course, I answered the question just like you did. Mm-hmm. Your house will probably sell quicker than the house without the cage.
Absolutely,
no doubt about it.
Yeah, and you'll command a much higher appraisal value. The appraisers are adding a lot of value to the homes that have that extra lanai, the patio, and it's a great opportunity. And sometimes we've seen even in the past as well. And working with our team, we've got the experts in all different areas. Home builders, so many different ways that we can help you here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. But in the past, I've actually had a property where I was actually selling the property, didn't have a lanai. And the realtor would say, "Oh well, it just can't be done. We've already checked it out." I said, "No, get with my team. Let me look at it. Let's see what we can do." We got a variance, and we were able to add the screen room. The house, the sale went through. So it matters the difference in the quality of professionals you're working with.
Yeah, variance work. I've done a lot of variance work myself. It's if they say no, that doesn't typically mean no. Go for the variance.
You got to work the right angles, and you got to know how to present it and how to structure it. All right, stay with us here, Consumer Quarterback Show. We are going to be coming back, and after the short break, top 10 U.S. cities for street performers, and our feel-good story of the week. Dad hires a chopper in a frantic search to find missing son. Find out how that story ends here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, ConsumerQB.com.
This is Work Done, and you're listening to the Real Estate Quarterback Show hosted by my man, Brandon Rhymes.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at ConsumerQB.com.
Hi, I'm Jerry from Hot Locks Hair Salon. We are conveniently located at 13414 US Highway 19 in Hudson. I've been a local hairstylist in our community for the last 34 years, 7 of which I was an educator. Our passion is the artistry of hair, and Hot Locks is here to help you achieve your perfect image. You can call us at 727-514-9978.
Listening to the Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, online at ConsumerQB.com. Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Call Brandon today at 813-670-7372.
All right, and we're back here, Consumer Quarterback Show, Platinum MVP Realty. And we are live from Salem Communications here, South Tampa. We're helping you win in any marketplace. That's the goal of our show. We don't care if you're climbing a corporate ladder, if you throw a ladder in your truck on the way to work. This show's for you. And we're going to help you save some money. We're going to help you go against the nonsense in the mainstream media, making you just a bit more street smart here. And we want to be your super connector. We want you to think about this show as the hub of your financial, your business, your marketing, your health wheel. Each spoke extending out represents another one of our preferred partners. Everything from, Dr. Gil Mejia, for example. We've got all the home services. We've got attorneys on our show. Ways that we can help you, and marketing experts as well. So consumerqb.com and 813-670-7372. That is our consumer advocate hotline. You can call or text that line, 670-7372. A couple of hot listings from Platinum MVP Realty, 2614 Cove K Drive in Tampa, or in Clearwater. It's a 1-bedroom, 1.5 bath property. Great entry-level style property at 810 square feet, and it's $115,000. Just reduced to $115,000 is 2614 Cove K Drive, unit number 302 in Clearwater. And we've got a duplex on the beach as well, 3610 Casablanca Avenue, St. Pete Beach, a hot listing from Platinum MVP Realty. It's a rare find. It's a duplex right on the beach in St. Petersburg Beach, 3610 Casablanca Avenue, $599,000, just reduced, and a great buying opportunity here in Tampa. This segment brought to you by Brio Tuscan Grill at the International Plaza. And at Brio Tuscan Grill International Plaza Mall, you will discover an Italian menu, signature drinks, and a cozy atmosphere, bringing the pleasures of a Tuscan country villa to Tampa. We invite you to make your reservation today and try the Italian menu. Enjoy the best Italian restaurant dining experience. Brio Tuscan Grill, located off of Bay Street, next to the Renaissance Tampa International Plaza, the hotel. All right, stay with us here. We are going to help you win top 10 U.S. cities for street performers coming up, and we have our feel-good story of the week as well. And let's go back to Fred. So, Fred, we were talking between the breaks, and one of the issues that people have sometimes when they look at putting on these beautiful screen rooms, and we want you to work with Tampa Screens and Aluminum, of course, Fred Muth, the Tin Man, is the ground elevation.
Well, the ground elevations in Florida are a big part of why there's flooding problems everywhere. And the developers will come in and they'll build one house next to another, et cetera. They take away a lot of the percolation of that area. So consequently, the water has to go somewhere. House is built, and then the neighbor's house is built, same square footage. Now the homeowner wants to put a patio on the back. And unfortunately, a lot of the elevations of the rear yards are very similar to the elevation of the house slab. Well, if I do say a 40 by 15 concrete slab, I'm taking away 600 square foot of percolation.
Right.
And if these elevations are very close, well, there's going to be a water problem.
Yeah.
So what I urge all homeowners who have the idea of building a screen room to please consult with the representative, whether it's me or my competition, whatever. Make sure they ask the questions about ground elevations and drainage. That's so important in this business. You can't imagine how many I see where there's a drainage problem.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, the homeowners, they come in starry-eyed. They want this big enclosure, but they don't realize that it's not a real good idea because of where's the water going to go now?
Right.
And quite often the water will come back up onto the patio. You spend $8,000, $9,000, $10,000 on this patio, and it's always wet.
Yeah.
I'm not going to sell that job.
Yeah, you got to be real careful about that.
Yeah. So I truly urge the homeowners to question the ground elevations and drainage when you're bidding out one of these projects.
Yeah,
for sure.
That's a great point. Yeah, that's a great point, and a consumer advocate tip here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Thanks, Fred.
I'd much rather walk from the job than write it up and create a problem.
I agree with that philosophy. Yeah, exactly. It's being that consumer advocate and not looking just for the quick sale.
That's correct.
Awesome. Fred Muth, Design and Sales, Tampa Screens and Aluminum. All right, let's bring Cory Van Valin into the conversation. Local magician, entertainer extraordinaire. What's happening?
What's up, Brandon? So, first time you had me on over a year ago, I was talking about my first headline stage show.
Yeah.
And in that year, I've had like 9 packed out or sold out shows.
Wow.
So I was really excited for you to come out to that last one.
Yeah, that's cool, man.
Yeah, so each show, brings its own new mistakes. And there's this quote that I love is that new mistakes bring progress.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right, man.
So, a lot of things in show business, what can go wrong will go wrong, and it's about going with it. You got to roll with the punches.
Yeah, well, a lot of times you'll have what you call a mistake, but the audience can't even notice it.
100%. And that's one thing I can be hard on myself about certain things because I have a certain standard to live by.
Yeah.
But the audience, everyone had such great feedback that I didn't let it get me down. I just let it get me excited for the next one.
Yeah. It seemed like you had some support in the audience, too. They were very supportful.
Yeah. And, you got some people that can be hecklers that you got to work with,
Yeah.
They're paying for their seats. I got to work with them.
Yeah, that's right. What's an example of that? You've had some funny...
Oh, yeah. It's like when someone shouts something out, it's not a TV screen. I can hear it. We can all hear it.
Yeah.
So you might have to say something funny right back. And it could either be your worst nightmare or your best support. If you're able to come up with something quick or something witty,
that's right.
The whole audience is going to be there with you.
Now let's talk about some of your marketing and your Facebook posts. I mean, some of your Facebook posts and your marketing. It's because you got the fire effects and people are like, wow, what's your highest likes and shares that you got on one of your posts?
So I'm out there everywhere. Whether radio or having flyers out. But my main push that gets ticket sales is going to be through Facebook.
Yeah.
And instead of just posting an event page where you might notice you don't get as much reactions or not as much things. It's because most of them aren't even being seen.
Right.
So I'll make a post that engages some sort of reaction. I'll ask a question or stimulate a like somehow, some way.
Yep.
And I'll go down that like list and I'll send each person an individual message.
Yeah.
Personalized message. And I can't tell you how many more seats that I've had just by people that said that they didn't even know about my show.
Yeah.
Until I message them, no matter how many posts I've had.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty cool. And then you can we're on the Facebook side of marketing, we're doing some really cool stuff with our website is a Real Geeks website, which is designed specifically for real estate. It has all the cool tools that you want on a real estate website. But we are driving business through Facebook as well. We're able to utilize some of the Facebook tools and things that we're doing there. But it's interesting when you get creative with that. You can take, for example, right now, since there's a lack of inventory, we're doing some marketing that is geared towards new home construction and new home builds. So you create that and you run some ad spend behind it. It's interesting what you can do when you come up with something like that.
Yeah, and I definitely like the idea of engaging your audience with certain questions like who has or who hasn't. And when you start almost grouping them up, there's a way that you can put everyone in one group and send everyone a direct message through that way as well.
Yeah.
So I've been taking different tactics. I'm still learning, so got to keep moving until I get to the bigger venues.
That's right. Yeah, man. That's some good stuff. And so speaking of that, what have you been on stage with some of the other folks? I know you talked about, what was it, Chris Angel? Or
no, not Chris Angel.
There was someone that you met one time or something?
Yeah, so I opened up at the Paris Hotel when I was 21 years old, and that was for a headlining hypnotist. Nice. And that was the most on-the-spot I've ever been put on. So, and it turned out great, gave me the confidence to keep moving forward. And I definitely see myself going back out to Las Vegas and getting some more opening slots.
Yeah, that's cool, man. Yeah, and so when's your next show? You got a show coming up?
So I got a next show March 23rd. It's going to be a Friday night, which I'm trying something new than typical Saturday shows. So I have an 8 o'clock show, which is going to be a family-friendly show, my first ever family-friendly show.
There you go.
And then the 10 o'clock show is going back to the adult 18 and up.
Oh, that's a good idea. The 8 o'clock is the early crowd, and yeah,
I don't want to be missing out on that market out there.
Yeah, that's great, man. So March 23rd, where's it at?
It's going to be at Stageworks Theater, which is out in Channelside area. I have all the information on my website, which is cory2v.com.
Stageworks Theater, that was where we went the other night, right? So Friday, March 23rd, 8 o'clock, you got the family-friendly show. 10 p.m., you've got the more rated R, is it?
Yeah, I call it rated R.
Okay.
That's a good way to put it.
All right, there we go. So, Cory's got a great show, and he's done some of our parties, and you got to check him out. He's really cool. He's it's almost like a blend of magic with a comedy show built in.
Yeah, I love the idea of giving people a roller coaster of emotions. And I found after I created the show that every trick has this theme where it seems like a joke, but it turns out to be a real trick.
Yeah.
So it really lowers people's guards and gives them something they weren't expecting.
Well, you impressed me on a couple things in the conference room before the show, so I'm sold. I'll sign up.
Tip of the iceberg. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
He had the whole show going in there, and then we had to cut loose to do this show.
Yeah, right. Now, Cory, do you have anything that you can do that might work on our TV program here? We got our TV.
100%. There's something that has been a rave for anytime I do private parties and events.
Yeah.
This is a trick that everyone talks about and they cannot forget. Actually, one of my girlfriend over with this trick. So
nice.
Let's get Fred. You're right next to me.
How you doing?
Fred.
I thought it was Eddie Van Halen.
Van Valin.
Can I have you actually open up both your hands face down? I'm going to stay a little bit higher just like this.
Oh, boy.
And make a fist out of both hands. Raise one of them up. Put that one behind your back.
Good luck.
I'm going to draw a little X on my hand. You guys all see the X on my hand, yes?
Yep.
If I take the X, it almost looks like it vanishes from my hand.
And it goes into Fred's hand.
And
There it
X
is,
marks
right
the
here.
spot,
Yeah.
yes.
Nice.
Wait a minute.
Very
Woo.
cool.
Welcome to the X-Men.
Hold on.
What
What
happened?
happened here?
Fred,
How
what
did this happen? I want to tell you, pretty good.
That's awesome, man.
I'm going to keep that. Can I have this?
Oh, yeah. It just sucks when you go to bars, they're going to serve an X on your hand and we can't serve you. It's,
Oh, oh.
There you go.
Guess I'll have to
So-
stop drinking.
So, Corey, you got any magic to get rid of student loans that I can add to my toolbox?
There you go.
I think I know someone to call for that.
Fair enough.
Excellent. Good stuff. All right. Stay with us here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. More from our expert contributors and our feel-good story of the week, as well as our top 10 U.S. cities for street performers when we come back. You're listening to the Consumer Quarterback Show, ConsumerQB.com.
Hey everybody, I'm Forbes Riley, celebrity TV fitness host and creator of The Spin Gym. I'm here today with Brandon Rhymes, and you're listening to the Consumer Quarterback Show. Great ways to get happy, healthy, and wealthy.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at ConsumerQB.com. You're listening to the Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. Online at ConsumerQB.com.
And we're back. Brandon Rhymes here, Consumer Quarterback Show. I'm your host and owner of Platinum MVP Realty and a top listing agent here in Tampa Bay. We're helping our sellers profit more on the sale of their real estate properties, featuring our real estate listings live on air to thousands of people versus the traditional and old school methods of the basic MLS marketing. We're doing a tremendous amount of extra marketing as well for our properties. We've got a property on Clearwater Beach as well as Mandalay. We got Mandalay Avenue on Clearwater Beach, and this is a 2-bedroom, 2-bath property. It's completely fenced in. It's one block off of the beach, and it's a great listing at $749,000 on the north side of the beach, Mandalay in Clearwater Beach, 1024 Mandalay Avenue, and 2-bedroom, 2-bath, over 1,800 square feet, split floor plan, located in beautiful North Clearwater Beach as well, minutes from all that the Gulf Coast has to offer. Great buying opportunity on Clearwater Beach, and we also have 2907 West St. Conrad in Tampa. It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath property, 170,000. Actually, we just reduced down to 165, I believe, over 2,000 square foot heated, and it's a great buying opportunity in beautiful Tampa Bay and a great location, very close to everything here. And we do have lots of vacant land available out there as well. We do have lots of vacant properties, vacant land. I've got about 35 current listings now. So we've got some vacant properties available in Tampa Bay. If you're a builder, maybe looking to buy some lot inventory, we've got some great lots available for you. All right, in studio today, we've got attorney Christie Arkovich, student loan attorney, and Fred Muth, design and sales, Tampa Screens and Aluminum. And we've got magician Cory Van Valin, and he's got a show coming up March 23rd, 8 o'clock, 10 o'clock, two different shows at Stageworks Theater in Channelside. All right, so let's jump into our top 10 cities for street performers. So let's have a little fun here, see if we can guess. So, Christy, do you have a guess on one of the top 10 cities here?
I think New Orleans would have to definitely be near the top of that list.
Number one, New Orleans.
Sweet.
Number one, New Orleans, I guess, depending on where you're from. And so, yeah, it says it's rich tradition, music tradition, and there's no shortage of talented performers in the French Quarter spots like Jackson Square and Royal Street. You'll likely hear something blowing a trumpet out there, someone blowing a trumpet. In recent years, visitors could catch musicians like Trombone Shorty, who worked the streets before he made it big. All right, Fred, you got a guess on this one?
Number 2 would be Key West, Florida.
Oh, let's see.
I hadn't thought of that one.
Let's see page 2 here. You know, surprisingly not.
Oh,
but
how about Ybor City?
Because I've been to the Key West. Everybody goes to the Sunset on the west side there. What's that square called? I forgot what they call it.
Mallory Square.
Mallory Square. Yeah, Key West. That's a cool spot. And would you say you had a second guess?
Well, I mean, Ybor City. If you walk down 7th Avenue, they're every other block.
Ybor City.
Got a guy out there playing.
Yeah. You see a lot of performers out there. Clearwater Beach we talked about too.
Absolutely.
Corey, you got something on the list here?
Yeah, for some reason I've seen a lot out in Fremont Street out in Las Vegas.
Las Vegas. You would think it should be on the list. It's not.
Man.
Las Vegas, top 10 U.S. cities for street performers according to USAtoday.com. So, USAtoday.com.
I would go for San Francisco or New York City.
San Fran, let's see. San Fran, New York is on the list, and so is San Francisco. That's right. So San Francisco, yeah, you are. Fisherman's Wharf, Pier 39. The abundance of street performers, including acrobats, poets, and clowns. And then New York, it says the Manhattan subway system has long provided a ready performance venue for musicians. Yeah. What's the old joke? It says the guy's he's walking and he asks the performer. He says, how do you get to Carnegie Hall? He says, practice, man, practice. You gotta practice. All right, so our top 10 U.S. cities for street performers. Boulder, Colorado is on the list. Baltimore, Seattle, San Diego is on the list. Boston, and we already said New York, San Francisco, Asheville, North Carolina, and Nashville. Nashville, it says, no surprise that you'll find the Music City is hardly limited to country crooners. Downtown Broadway attracts everything from honky-tonk to bluegrass to jazz and blues. You'll find magicians, cello players, ukuleles, and spoon players. Given that talent in the city, you can expect high standards. You have to have a golden voice to stop people in their tracks, Michael says. Visit musiccity.com. All right, so there's our top 10 list of cities for street performers here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. And we have our feel-good story of the week. So every week we want to go against the nonsense out there in the mainstream media, the negativity that you find on a lot of the local news stations, or national news stations, rather. And we're going to tell you something good here.
Tell me something good.
So dad hires a chopper in frantic search to find missing son. So Tony Lethbridge couldn't sleep. It was early morning Monday, and it said it had been 24 hours since anyone had heard from his 17-year-old son, Samuel. It was out of character for Tony, and Tony had a gut feeling that something was wrong. I couldn't just get it out of my head. He crashed somewhere, Tony told Stuff. As Tony's mind raced, he recalled an accident from a few years earlier along the same stretch of highway that he believed Samuel would have been traveling on, that the driver wasn't found for 4 or 5 days. With the way that the bush is there, if a car goes, you're not going to see it, and its only way to see it is from the air, and that's what he did. If a helicopter wasn't hovering above, I would have never found him. Trapped in his vehicle for nearly 30 hours, Samuel was dehydrated and suffering serious injuries. He spoke to me when I got to the car, Tony said. I grabbed him and said, "Mate, Dad's got you." Emergency services arrived on scene, and had to cut the vehicle open to pull Samuel from the wreckage. He was taken to John Hunter Hospital with a broken arm, broken thigh bone, dislocated elbow, and various small fractures. He is expected to make a full recovery. So, yeah, interesting story, man. Sometimes, you get in those accidents, you're stuck in the woods. Nobody can see you. Reminds me of some of the swamplands and stuff in South Florida, going in the woods there. So he broke his thigh bone. That sounds like a painful injury there. That's a big bone to break. All right, so there's our feel-good story of the week. All right, let's jump into our lightning round.
The lightning round!
I am so good at lightning rounds!
I majored in lightning round.
All righty, top tips, nuggets of advice, parting words of wisdom. Attorney Christie Arkovich, you're up.
Let's see here. What would be good? Public service. That is really big right now. With student loans, a lot of people think they're in public service loan forgiveness programs. They are not. It's good to get a checkup, make sure that your loans qualify. It's not that hard to qualify. You basically have to have the right loan type. You have to have the right income-based plan, so you have to have the right payment type. And then you have to be working full-time for a nonprofit, a 503c3, or government. So it's not that hard. But for whatever reason, the servicers seem to be hiding the ball a bit and not letting people know that something's wrong. And they're years into a program that they really haven't even started. So I would say my biggest tip is if you happen to be working public service, you're a firefighter, police, teacher, you name it. Doesn't matter what you're doing. If you're working for a nonprofit or government, check with a student loan attorney. Make sure you're on target for forgiveness in 10 years, because I'd hate for you to be terribly disappointed when that time comes.
Yeah, that's going to hurt if you get hit with a big bill like that. All right, Fred Muth, Tampa Screens and Aluminum.
Make sure that you ask a lot of questions when you're bidding out any type of construction project, whether it's a screen room or whatever. There's nothing worse than a big surprise on the back end. And the term low bid construction probably falls in the same category as forbearance. Not a good term. Not good. Not good. That's about it. Installers, never, ever, help me out.
Come down the ladder the same way you gone up.
Head first.
Thank
you.
And real quick on permits. Are permits kind of lighter this time of year? Are they picking up?
It's starting to lighten up a little bit. I don't want to say that and get too excited. Some of the pool cage permits are coming through much quicker in Hillsborough County than they were in the past. The screen rooms still drag on.
Yeah.
The cages are going up faster for whatever reason. I'm sure it has something to do with the storm.
Yeah.
So, City of Tampa, beautiful, in and out. Hillsborough is a little slow. Pasco, extremely slow.
Yep.
And that's all I have to say so far.
All right.
Okay.
There's the update from the Tin Man. All right, magician Cory Van Valin.
Yeah, so I just want everyone to keep in mind that I'm not just a magician. I'm the magician.
Yeah.
And aside the stage shows, I do private parties and events. So if you guys, anyone out there has any events that they'd like to have some magic and flair and bring people together with the good smiles, I'm there for you for that. And I'm sure you can find me through Brandon Rhymes' channel, and I'd look forward to showing what I do best.
Yeah, consumerqb.com. He's got a card up there. All of our expert contributors have their announcement card, radio show card at consumerqb.com. And definitely, and Cory, he's done a lot of our events as well, and he has a great time with it, and really entertains the crowd, and it's great for parties. What's the season now? So what kind of parties would people be having? Mostly like birthdays you got coming up? You got?
I'm still getting some late corporate events, which is always good.
Yeah.
December's high in that, and getting some late ones now. And any kind of birthday party, any kind of adult gathering, it's always good. Anytime there's a group of people.
Nice. Yeah, Cory Van Valin, best in the business, the magician.
Yeah.
And he's got a show coming up on Friday, March 23rd. 8 o'clock show is more of a PG rated, and the 10 o'clock show is a little bit more PG-13/R rated maybe. All right, so another great show. I want to thank attorney Christie Arkovich, student loan attorney, and I want to thank Fred Muth, design and sales for Tampa Screens and Aluminum, as well as Cory Van Valin, the magician, here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. And we want to thank all of our expert contributors, our listeners out there, our viewers of our TV show, and we want to engage with you. We'd love to hear from you. Anything that you hear on the show that you think could bring value to your life, reach out, 813-670-7372. And please go out there and consider committing a random act of kindness. Pack up some food you have, hand it to that person that you see in need. Also, this time of year, blankets and sweaters and clothing is in much high demand due to this extended cold snap of cold weather that we have here in Tampa Bay. So reach out and give that to your churches, your donations, and be a force for good. Check us out on Facebook.com, Brandon Rhymes PA on Facebook, the Real Estate Quarterback Show, the Consumer Quarterback Show as well, on Twitter at Brandon Rhymes1, Instagram at Brandon Rhymes1, and we'll see you next time here, Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
You've been listening to the Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes. Whether it's real estate, consumer, or financial advice, let Brandon call your next play. Contact Brandon Rhymes at 813-670-7372. That's 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com. And join us next time for the Consumer Quarterback Show, weekday afternoons at 5 on AM 1380. The Biz.